The Opportunity Map topic covering non-value added activity is a straightforward concept. However, many students and those new to lean thinking fall a long way short in getting down to identifying the true value added activities and process. And there are logical reasons behind this, reasons well worth a technique tip. Welcome to this technique tip episode. I'm Pyzdek Institute Master Black Belt Kevin Ryan with tips for Lean Six Sigma students and practitioners. Now in this episode, I aim to provide guidance and tips on creating opportunity maps, and I'll try to explain why so many people take a long time to think lean and effectively identify non-value added steps. Okay, so let's start with answering the question, what is waste? Waste is any activity that consumes resources but brings no value to the end customer. So let's talk first about how people don't seem to be able to see non-value added work. Sometimes it is being trapped by not thinking beyond current technology and materials, but for many others it is much more about a well-ingrained lens to the world. Basically, we've all been indoctrinated into economy of scale thinking that has been the dominant economic reality for over 100 years. So this makes lean thinking and identifying waste and non-value added activity as counterintuitive for most people. It's very common for those who show great interest in lean and take the time to tour a Toyota plant or another lean business still struggle to understand the concepts contained in lean. It's normal to find it challenging to see waste in the beginning. So before getting to talk about waste and non-value added activity, it's important to understand that lean is more than waste and Muda. In addition to Muda, we need to understand Mura and Muri. Muda, Mura and Muri are described as three types of deviations behind inefficient allocation of resources and jointly must all be eliminated. Now all three are interlinked, much like a three-armed seesaw. They have an interrelationship, and that when one changes, so do the others, and eliminating waste itself isn't enough. You can't overlook them. Hence why Toyota production system or lean is not just about waste elimination. Okay, so let's talk Muda. So Muda is wastefulness either as non-value added activities in the process necessary for production for the customer, such as inspection, but don't directly contribute value to the final product or service. This may be called required or business non-value add. Now these are targeted for improvement or optimization. Then there is the second type of Muda in the process, made up of non-value added activities that are not necessary for the customer and thus are the target for elimination from the process. Toyota defines 7 categories of waste under the second type of Muda, and you'll often see the acronym Tim Wood as an example. Next is Mura, which is imbalance, unevenness or irregularity, and often is the source of 7 waste. Mura leads to Muda. For example, different throughputs along the process is visible as overproduction or waiting. Thus, where levelling methods such as pull methods like Kanban are highly important to limit inventory. Third, we have Muri. Muri is overload, overburden or excessiveness and can be the result of imbalance or Mura and on occasion the removal of Muda in high amounts. Muri can also occur when capacity exceeds 100% of equipment or employees, which over time leads to breakdowns or absenteeism, for example. Methods such as standard work can address Muri by distributing activities evenly along the process. So what you should have gleaned is that Muda, Mura and Muri are interrelated, and improving value streams through targeting one will affect the other, but it's not always possible to reach an optimal balance. Evaluating Muda, Mura and Muri continuously with improvement activities is part of evolution towards a lean system. So now with an understanding of waste in lean, let's look at the forms of waste in process. Transport. Transport is moving resources such as materials or supplies, and the movement doesn't add value to the product or service. Examples of this are trolleying supplies, parts, work in progress or finished goods, forklifting materials around a warehouse, or carrying files and inter-office envelopes. Inventory. Inventory is overstocking to either meet unexpected customer demand, product constraints or delays. And examples of this are unread emails, work in progress, finished goods, parts, safety stock and office supplies, for example. Motion. Motion waste is unnecessary movement of people or handling of work such as rotating a component around to drill holes. So examples may include searching for information, walking or taking steps at a workstation, reaching and twisting at a workstation, or arranging parts or paper. Waiting. Waiting waste is when things or people are idle, waiting for someone or something. Examples of this include waiting for a sign-off or approvals, waiting for setup parts or information, waiting for equipment to be available, waiting for a specialist to arrive, or waiting for a late meeting attendees. Overproduction. Overproduction waste is producing more than is required to meet customer demand, and examples of this might be filling out unnecessary forms, parts made before the next task requires them, creating reports that no one actually uses, or having spare capacity in the workplace. Overprocessing. Overprocessing waste is doing activity that the customer doesn't want or need, and examples may be duplicate data entry, unnecessary steps in a process, duplication, or multiple levels of approval. Defects. Defect waste is work that is less than the required level by the customer, which may be something like errors, mistakes, and rework. And some examples include the wrong inputs, incomplete work, errors, scrap, or even wrong paperwork in an office-based environment. And here's a summary of the 7 wastes with both manufacturing and service examples. So why the theatrics? Well, the 7 wastes are actually all related to one another as inventory. Value-added activities are generally only a small fraction of a process, and so focusing on eliminating waste should be the focus of all companies. Though when the big wastes are gone, we do optimise value-added activities. So let's talk non-value added. Non-value added is any activity that does not increase the worth of what is delivered to the customer. Non-value added true waste is the target for elimination. Now, reducing non-value add activities completely is not always possible, as some of these are necessary for various reasons. The key, though, is not accepting the status quo and either testing whether they are genuinely required and eliminating those that are not, or compressing the time and resources consumed by these required non-value added activities. Okay, so I took the long path to get here, but I hope you have a better understanding of waste and how it fits in the larger system of lean. So what is value added and how to use an opportunity map? Well, value added has 3 clear criteria. The first criteria is willing to pay. So this is the final customer values the activity enough they would pay for it. Our second criteria is that it must change form. So this is a change in form, fit or function of the product or service. And finally, it is done right the first time, meaning it is free of defects or rework. Here is a Yamazumi chart which shows on the left a grossed up view of the value added, non-value added and the required non-value added activities in the process. On the right is the detailed version including the breakup of the steps. It's wrong to focus on improving value added at this point rather than the big opportunity of non-value added work. So for those new to thinking with a lean lens, I suggest using the non-value added table with the opportunity map, so you're forced to assess value with the reminder of the 3 criteria. Eventually you can dispense with the table once your lean lens has developed and you won't be able to switch it off. Using the non-value added table, we simply go through each process step and evaluate using the 3 criteria. Now this can be done with opportunity maps, or we can substitute and done with value stream mapping or a time value map. So as a process improvement practitioner, often you find that an organisation hasn't matured to using value streams. So the opportunity map is more of a process focused technique, but it can be scaled up. Now here is a real non-manufacturing opportunity map. It shows what is typical in services, a lot of non-value added activity. even entire roles not adding value to the process. So in this technique tip, I wanted to also answer the question, are there 7 or 8 wastes? Commonly people introduced an 8th waste, which is often referred to as a waste of skill, talent or ideas or unutilised talents. It's not using ideas from those people working in the process, which is a very good source of improvement ideas, and usually improvement ideas with a lot less complexity than outsiders come up with. And so yes, it's a valuable source for business improvement. So unutilised talent is real and is detrimental for business performance in many ways, but is it Muda?
One of these things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song?
So reason 1 why unutilised talent isn't Muda or waste in the Toyota production system is the 7 wastes are related by inventory. Reason 2 why unutilised talent isn't Muda or waste in TPS is the 7 wastes are related by flow, an important factor of Toyota production system. People as unutilised talent does not have a relationship with flow of inventory. Now the third reason I believe there's only 7 wastes is the 7 wastes are tightly interrelated. When one changes, so do the others, with overproduction having a multiplier effect on the other wastes. Reason 4 why unutilised talent is not a waste in the Toyota production system is the 7 wastes have a clear solution or methodology to address each of them in the Toyota production system toolbox. So my reason number 5 why unutilised talent is not part of the 7 wastes, the unutilised talent was simply overlooked. So really, are we to believe that the father of the Toyota production system, devising the 7 wastes, including authoring several books on the subject, somehow missed unutilised or unused skills or talent? Not very likely. You see, Sakakei and Kichiro Toyota and Ono's concepts that led to Toyota's 14 principles underpinning the Toyota Way in 2001 already encompass the behaviours for engaging and including employees into problem solving, and thus an 8th waste was not part of Ono's 7 wastes. So point 6, utilising talent is well and truly part of the Toyota production system already. Toyota production system and Toyota Way well and truly cover people talent. So is skills waste Muda? The 7 wastes are related by forms of activity with inventory and flow. They have a direct cause and effect from another inventory-related waste. Methods in the Toyota production system where skills or talent are not utilised are not related in these ways. The 8th waste is not Muda, instead it is about leadership and culture. So for this I recommend seeing the Toyota production system and Toyota Way. The unutilised talent or skills muddies the concepts of lean, and particularly the 7 wastes. Unused skills or talent is novel, interesting and a tragedy, and definitely costing organisations in many ways, but it still doesn't make it Muda, as we understand non-value added work or waste. If people are not inventory, and unutilised talent is not a form of Muda as intended in lean. Now at the end of the day, does it matter? Am I just nitpicking? Well, yes, it does matter, and I'll tell you why. Lean for most people is a complex set of counterintuitive ideas, and so adding an unrelated waste just distracts from understanding of waste and non-value added activities, as well as the larger understanding of lean. If lean is to be more than a set of tools wielded by people who fail to transform their organisations, I believe it needs to be struck out and returned to the 7 wastes and teach the underlying principles, not sell tools. So there it is. I hope I've been able to provide you with some useful information to help you understand waste and completing an opportunity map or similar technique. So I hope this video has helped you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Now to get future technique tips, please subscribe and click the notification bell to be alerted of the latest episode, and I'll see you in the next technique tip.